Hello, this demonstration is going to demonstrate the WAN connectivity from Nuage to DC gateway. In this example here, we'll be using a router to extend the connectivity from the cloud to the bare metal network through a router. That router then can be used to extending out to the internet or extend to another data center or onto third-party handoffs. So an example here, when we're configuring the WAN connection on the VSD, we need to go to databases, and under databases we got to click on the router in question itself. So this example here, it's PE1. Under the router itself, then you create a WAN connection, and what that WAN connection incorporates is its name, service ID, if it's going to be a layer 2 service, or it's going to be a layer 3 service, or it's going to be a combination of layer 2 and 3, integrated routing and bridging. So in this example here, we're just going to use layer 3 service. We're going to assign a service policy. Where the service policy comes from is on the actual router itself. We run a Python script, which is called by the VSD, with the specific variable information that's sent across. So under the Python policy, there's a policy called L3 on here. This Python policy is called via the VSD. And the policy then points to a script that it can exist locally on the router, or it can exist via FTP or SFTP. So if we have a look at the Python script itself, the Python script is just an example of the actual configuration, but with counter strings in there, looking for the variable information from the VSD to build the actual configuration. So we have our VRF configuration in here. We can also create interfaces automatically on the router itself via also sending with this variable information. You can send in extra metadata information to build this configuration up as well. So going back to the configuration on the VSD. So if we look at the metadata part of it, in this example here, the metadata information we're going to push down from the VSD to the PE will also include a route distinguisher, a VPRN AS number, a VPRN route distinguisher, and a VPRN route target. We'll also create a loopback interface, and that loopback interface will have an IP address of 1111. Okay, so once that's down here. So also what we're going to be looking for on the router is we're going to be looking for a new service that's going to be created, because the service address range that's been assigned to the router for dynamic services is 64,000. This is configurable, and it's configured on the router itself. So we see a new service popping up around about here in a minute or two. So if we go back to then the customer cloud itself, the specific customer, and under the customer itself you can assign the WAN connection. Give it a name, we call it customer 1, PE1, and then we pick the WAN connection we created. Once that's created, then the WAN connection then is pushed to the actual router. So what we're doing then is we have a VPRN that sits inside the that customer's domain. And that VPRN has an IP address of 10.11.1.2. Under here we have the VPRN, or the VM itself. The VM is 10.11.1.2. And what we're going to do then is, once the automatic interface that we created, so our dynamic services should be created now on the router itself. The route table now is 64,001. Look in the route table. We automatically created the interface that we want to do, loopback interface of 1111/32, and we also have the VM's IP address extended out now to the bare metal network via the router. So if on there, if we try to ping from the VM, if we try to ping the loopback interface, we can ping the loopback interface then from the SDN network out to the router. Okay, so that demonstrates demo for creating dynamic WAN services. Also, when the WAN service is taken out of the service or the customer's domain is deleted, the WAN connection is automatically deleted from the router. So there's no need for services sitting on the router that are not being used. So this is pure network on demand. So once the network is needed, it's being configured. When it's not needed, it's taken down. So this will take about 30 seconds before it'll be implemented. So now we see the services gone, and then dynamic services pulled down again off the bare metal router. Okay, so that's ends demonstration. Thank you. Bye bye.